Hello everybody, your favourite Spartan here and welcome back to a brand new video, and today we are going to be reviewing Dead Space Remake that I've just recently finished on the channel. We're just going to start off with the length of time. It took me about 16 hours I think, and that was also, I think I had one restart because the audio messed up for the first hour or so of the game. So it's about 15 hour gameplay, which for a modern day game is quite good, and that was just my first playthrough. There's at least another three playthroughs I've got to do just to mop up all the achievements, and you'll see everything there is to do in the game, which I like to do nowadays. I like to make sure I get the value out of it because games cost so much money now. I want to get the full value out of everything. So yeah, it's 15 hours, but to mop up you're looking at at least another 15 plus. So yeah, you've got all that to look forward to. So it's a good lengthy chunky game, which is amazing by modern day standards. Gameplay wise, I thought this game had everything for me. It was so good and tight, and there was like some moments where you had to think, like, what am I going to go to in this next stage, and you always had to just keep preparing for the next thing and the next thing. And I felt like every weapon had its moment to shine in my gameplay. And I got the line gun very late on, and I think I only used it about 4 times, but every weapon felt powerful enough to use. I thought like the old game where there was some weapons and some moments where like the weapons just didn't work, and they just seemed too weak, and the alt fires were rubbish. And I had a few problems with the grenade launcher. It didn't always go off. I still don't know the reason behind that necessarily, but everything had its place and everything was good. So I thoroughly enjoyed the gameplay. I think the horror aspect of it was amazing for me. Like, I'm normally pretty good with horror games. Make this. There's plenty of clips of me on my shorts that I've been making, but oh my days. I literally, some of the moments I generally was frightened. Like, it just made me jump. Like, I wasn't scared for like long periods of time. It's just that initial scare, and it was a scare in a few moments. They've nailed it, especially with the new graphics and visuals and audio. It all just synced perfectly, and it was just terrifying. Especially those tall guys. Just thinking about them now freaked me out. Oh mate, they were horrible. But yeah, the horror was like, bang on. I think just enough. It wasn't just like ramming it down your throat for a horror game, but it was just there enough. It was perfect for me. It was great. So moving on to graphics, I thought the job that they've done, it was amazing. If you compare it to modern day games, and then compare it to the original, it's like, it blows most things out of the water. Like, they've done such a good job compared to the original. It holds no candle to it. It's unbelievable what they've done and how they've brought it into the modern day. But compared to some modern day games now, I think with the setting being so enclosed in a spaceship, they could really do well with the lights, and with it falling apart gradually over time. There's like sparks, there's things breaking. You can see, you can revisit things, and things are slowly getting more and more dilapidated and like taken over by the hive minds, like tentacle things that it was like protruding throughout the ship, and like the weird mass that was generating. And you go into different rooms after that. I think it was like chapter 10, something like that, and everything goes all culty, and they start coming about a bit more. There's like candles and glyphs everywhere, and one minute it's like this computer screens are fine, and the next minute it's all got like some gibberish on it and marker stuff. And I think just the attention to detail with the graphics was like, it's bang on. They just hit every nail on the head. Everything was great. What it was. Audio wise, again, I can't fault it, honestly. Like, I think there's only one section where I thought, bro, you need to turn the volume down. I think it was quite early on-ish. It was like the chapter 6 ballpark. It was like, I think it was going through some like fan area, and it was just before you get the flamethrower, and it was the noisiest thing I've heard. I had to turn my headset down. I could hardly hear myself speak. I don't know how they missed that. I don't know what it was, but it literally, the whole game's audio was perfectly synced, the whole lot, and then all of a sudden this room was literally, it was just noise. I couldn't even make anything out. It was horrible. But other than that, you know, I could tell what enemy was coming before I could see it. They had their own individual noises, and they had like different ones as well. So it wasn't just like for one thing and then just over and over and over again. You know, they all had their own little different ones, and you knew what it was before you even saw it. I thought Isaac's voice, which he is now voice, I don't think he was in the original. At least, well, he was voice, just didn't really speak like when spoken to. I think he had select sections, so probably the beginning and the end sort of thing. But yeah, he's basically silent for the whole game. And now he speaks to and interacts, and it just flows perfectly. Like, it's story now. It doesn't feel... You know, when you have a silent protagonist, it's just weird. It's just weird. Everybody knows it. Nobody likes it. It's just weird, mate. So to have him do that now, I think is really good. All the voice acting for the whole game was pretty much bang on. I did feel in some sections there was slightly, just ever so slightly too long of a pause between words, you know, and it would be like really emotional things. Like, you know, it's like the first time he sees Nicole on the ship walking around, and he's just like, oh, hello. It's like, bro, you came all this way, you've been fighting all these monsters for like days, and you know, he's like, hello, wife, girlfriend, whatever she is to him. It's like, bro, where's the emotion, man? And then obviously, like, you know, like I just said, there's some slightly long pauses, so it'd be like, oh, you know, say all this like really emotional stuff, and then it'd be like, let us go. It's like, bro, why was it so long of a pause, man? What's that all about? But I think, other than a couple of voice things here and there, it was really good, especially with some of the new dialogue that they had, you know, with returning characters like Dr. Mercer. You know, he seems to have more of a part. You know, he's there in front of you now, not behind all these walls all the time and things like that. So, you know, I think what they've done was really good, and the weapon audio design was incredible. You know, everything felt chunky and spacey, and you know I like me chunky space weapons, so I think they nailed it with that as well. I think just the world audio, like, if you ever just stop, there's stuff going on. You can hear monsters in vents, you can hear things scurrying around, you can hear water, things sliming around, vents breaking, lights, you know, it was everything. And you know, the music as well. The music was just enough, you know, to keep you on edge. It was good. It was really good audio, I think. As story goes, it was pretty much exactly the same. It's just a bit more fleshed out now. I think they brought some things from the later games into this one to make things make a bit more sense. And I think they did an overall good job. You know, for me, I think everything made sense. The introduction of all the side quests as well. Can't remember if they were in the original, but they were quite interesting. You know, you could follow in the footsteps of like Nicole and see, you know, what she was getting up to during the outbreak sort of thing. And you know, you could get the different key cards to unlock more areas, and you know, once you got them all, you could get the master key card, and that gives you access to everything, you know, all the containers, and that's how you get all the rest of the upgrades. So I liked it how everything was like interwoven with each other. You know, to get everything you have to explore more, and then really put an emphasis on like exploration, and I loved that. You know, I found everything in my first playthrough because I just looked everywhere. The writing was really good. I really enjoyed the sort of the hero arc of himself, and he's quite selfish sort of thing. You know, he's here for one thing, but it slowly turns into him like just wanting to help everybody, which I thought was a good character arc for him. And the length of the story I thought was just enough. You know, it kept me wanting more. I didn't get bored, and I didn't feel fatigued or anything. I've been wanting to play it all the time, so I've really enjoyed it. I've really enjoyed the story, and I thought the length was just enough for me. 12 chapters, interesting chapters, was good enough. So a couple of things I didn't like was, like I said, the audio problems, you know, with like some of the dialogue. Didn't always like. I don't know if it's just because I was making YouTube videos, but some of the dialogue, how long it goes on for, it's like some of them are like 5-minute monologues, and I'm just thinking like, I just want to go and shoot something. Like, I don't mind stuff to progress the story. I just want to keep going. like you said your bit, and now you're just rambling. And then once it goes in, it just straight into the action and just fighting things again. It's like there's a Dr. Mercer monologue. Well, a few of them. There's one in like a cold storage bay, and he just goes and goes and goes, and then all of a sudden, as soon as he walks off screen, everything attacks you. And it's just like, bro, there's no chill. Like, you bore me, and then you attack me. So I didn't like that. And another thing is, when you get some audio logs, you can't progress. You've just got to stand there in this room, and you just like listen to these people argue because they're going a bit mad with the marker powers, and you just think, I could still walk around. Like, let me walk. Let me continue. Just let me walk through the rest of the doors. Just, they don't go on for long, but it's like sometimes they're like a minute or so. But it's a minute of you just stood there. Like, I can't go to the shop. I can't save my game. All I can do is like reload weapons and make sure my health's topped up. You can't do anything. Nothing attacks you either. So yeah, there's just nothing to do. It's like you just sit there and just listen. Like, I can't even open a door, man. So I didn't like that either. But other than that, I only had one glitch for the entire game, and it was on the very last chapter. Literally the second to last thing I had to do. I had this big long monologue thing to watch, and then the door shut, and then it froze at the door. And literally after that door shut is the boss fight, and the game ends. So it's literally like I was probably 10 seconds, 15 seconds away from fighting the final boss. That was the one time which I was really sad and shocked about, to be fair, because like it's done so well for the whole game. Other than that, it's been banging. I play on the Series X, if so I don't know if that helps, but that was it. That was a very, very minute problems, but still a few problems. So my final thoughts on the game, I am going to give it 9.5 out of 10. I think there's, only a couple of minor things that bothered me, but they're still there. There's no skip dialogue or anything like that, and there's no skip cutscene kind of things. And like I said, it did glitch once and it completely froze. And just the audio, really, of just how long things go on for. But other than that, the gameplay, the horror, the designs of everything, story, the new voice acting, everything like that, that was top notch. That was banging. This game you should play, and you really ought to have it in your library. It's probably one of the best remakes I've ever played. I do really hope they remake Dead Space 2 next, and I never played Dead Space 3, so who knows? If they like 2, they might as well finish 3 and do the trilogy, and I hope they do, and I'll play it for the first time with that, and that'll be even better experience because I really won't know what's going on. So that'd be good. 9.5 out of 10, must pick up. It is such a good, fun game, and I've really enjoyed playing it, and I'm gonna enjoy carrying on playing with it. Mopping up everything up. So yeah, that was my thoughts on it. Next up is Resident Evil 4. I can't wait for this. It's one of my favorite games ever made, and I'm so twitchy to play it. I can't wait for it. I didn't even play the demo, so I'm here for it. I'm ready. I hope you enjoyed this. If you did, please have a look around the rest of the channel, and you might find something else you will like. If you do, please consider subscribing, as it really does mean a lot, and I hope to see everybody in the next one. Bye, guys.